Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie and I'd like to welcome you to this demonstration. I've had a customer request from a lady who has asked me how I achieved the background on this gorgeous Anna Griffin card, and I'd like to show you how I achieved it. And it's quick, it's simple, and I'm sure you'll agree it's really effective. So looking at the card, what I did was I actually used lots of different inks to achieve a colour match to the embellishments and the banners and the sentiments and everything that I added to the card. I started off with a layer of white card, just plain white card, and as far as I can remember it's a 260 GSM. I ran it through an Anna Griffin embossing folder from the Garden Cuttings range, and you can see from the depth of the emboss it's kind of like a 3D image anyway, and it really gives a good texture, and as it is, it's a beautiful background. But I took this to the next level by adding lots of ink. The inks that I used were Spun Sugar, pumice stone, brush corduroy, peeled paint and fire brick. So I'm just going to put these to one side and I'm going to start with Spun Sugar, and we'll take the lid off that one, and I'm using a blending ink tool. I know it says Victorian Velvet, but I haven't got Victorian Velvet anymore, and I've changed the bottom because you can take them on and off. So I'm going to use Spun Sugar to start with. I've got an inking mat that's invaluable, and I'm going to put my card on the inking mat. So we'll start and just simply add ink, and this is how I achieved the other background. I started with the paler colour and I went all the way around bringing the ink in. I will say I'm going a little bit faster because obviously we're filming it and I know we're pushed for time and you're supposed to keep it to a minimum to keep the viewer happy, but you know, I'm going to do my very best for you. So we go all around the edge with Spun Sugar, and then I go around the edge again, and this time I'm adding more ink and I'm pressing down a little bit harder towards the edge, but all the time taking the colour into the centre but not putting the colour in the centre, if that makes sense. In design terms it's called a vignette, where the viewer's eye is drawn to the centre by creating a shaded frame around an image, and it draws the attention in to focus on the centre. So I keep going all the way around, darkening and darkening, more and more ink, until it's literally pink around the edge. So I'm quite happy with that, and we'll just add a little bit more to the corners, because again it's the power of illusion that is the same for any inking technique really. So that's the Spun Sugar. So as you can see, that draws it into the centre. The next colour that I added was the peeled paint, and this is the green, and again I'm using a blending tool, and very technical. I splodge, 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 splodge. There's probably a word for it, but I've no idea what it is. So I literally just add random colour, and I'm not worried about how it looks or how it is on the card. So the next colour that I go for is the pumice stone, and again I've got a blending tool, and I add the colour randomly again, splodging it on, not really worrying about where I'm putting it, just not adding too much either, because we don't want to lose the effect of the pink. And then I'm just lightly going to do the edge around the pink, on top of the pink should I say, and all the way around our card. I'm happy with that. So the next stage is the fire brick, and this is the red. This is what's going to make it absolutely pop. So I'm going to add it in various places around on our card, splodging as we go, not really taking a lot of care. And last one at that edge, maybe a little bit there. So at the moment it just looks like a piece of card with lots of ink thrown on it, which it is. Now the last colour that I've got is the brushed corduroy, and this to me is an ink I always turn to because it's going to bring everything together. It's literally going to bring your colours in together to create a perfect finish really. It's going to blend them all together so you've got seamless edges, and I start just like the pink, going around the edge. I'm not worrying about the centre at the moment, I'm just concentrating on my edges, and I'm going to keep going. And this is, it'll take a little bit of time because you want to blend it all in and you want that seamless finish where all the colours tone together, and your technical splodging then looks like a masterpiece. And obviously your masterpiece, when anybody says, oh, this must have taken you ages and you must have thought about this, you don't have to tell them that you've just splodged it on. So you just keep going round. Now if you've got an ink pad like mine that's quite old and dry, it'll probably take you a little bit longer than when you've got a nice fresh juicy ink pad, but there's nothing wrong with it, and you can get ink refills anywhere. So you literally keep blending all the way around, and as you get going, your first layer will probably be really light, and then when you get to the corner where you started, then you can start going in a little bit heavier. So let's go round again, and this time I'm going to go further into the actual card, and I'm going quite heavy and firm using circular motions, because that is what will blend everything, making the pattern stand out from the embossing. It won't squash it because you're not pushing down, you're literally just making your circular movements. Don't worry if that happens, if your paper folds, it doesn't matter, it's not going to hurt it. So just keep going all the way around, and again you can see how we're building it up leaving the centre a lot lighter than the edges. So we've nearly achieved our look now. Just finish this last side off and pull it all together. You can do the centre if you really want, but because there's a sentiment that's going to actually cover that, it might be a little bit of a waste of ink. So we'll just leave that little bit. And then lastly, what I'm going to do is take a good old piece of kitchen roll and I'm just going to give it a rub, and then that way it'll take off any excess ink that you might have got. And that is how I achieved the background for this card. Now obviously the sentiments and everything are on there, but you can see the colour tones that we've got, and once your sentiments cover that, you'll see the beautiful background. So I'd like to thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to give this the thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing cards and projects that you've used using this technique. See you next time.